Hey everybody, in this video we are talking about the New York City Mansion Tax. So check it out. Welcome to the channel everybody. My name is Daniel Ackerman. I'm a listing specialist with the Queens home team at Keller Williams Realty. So welcome. And today in this video, we are going to be talking about the New York City Mansion Tax. What is it? How does it work? Who pays for it? Etc. So a lot of good information here. So what is the Mansion Tax for New York City, New York State, and how does it work? Well, basically, the most basic way to describe the Mansion Tax is that it's a supplemental tax on the purchase of residential property. So that would be 1 to 3 family homes, condos and co-ops, that is payable in the state of New York for any property priced over $1 million. So anything over $1 million, the mansion tax is going to apply. And this is a tax that is paid typically by the buyer. Now, there are all sorts of taxes that are involved in the purchase of property in New York, some payable by the seller, some payable by the buyer. The mansion tax is typically payable by the buyer, and that is usually due within 15 days of closing on the property. So 1 to 3 family homes, condos or co-ops priced over $1 million, payable by the buyer. So as I mentioned, there are other taxes involved for both the buyer and the seller. We're not going to be covering those in this video, so you can perhaps look at other videos on this channel to learn more about those other taxes. We're just looking at the mansion tax here. Now, the mansion tax is broken up into 8 brackets in the city of New York. Throughout the rest of New York State, there's just one mansion tax level for anything over $1 million, and it's 1%. Okay, that used to be the case in New York City, but in July of 2019, a new law was passed, and the New York City mansion tax is now different from the rest of the state, and it's broken up into 8 different brackets. So let's take a look at the New York City mansion tax. There are 8 brackets, and the first bracket starts at $1 million and goes up to just under $2 million. And this stays at the old mansion tax rate of 1%. So your minimum tax here is going to be $10,000, and you'll pay up to $19,999 in mansion tax for a purchase within this price range. Now, the second bracket starts at $2 million and goes up to just under $3 million. And here the tax rate jumps by 0.25%. So it's now 1.25%. And that means that you'll be paying somewhere between $25,000 and $37,500 in mansion tax alone. Now, for the third bracket, this is the $3 million to $5 million range. And once again, the tax rate increases by 0.25%. So you're now at 1.5%. And that means that you'll be paying somewhere between $45,000 up to a maximum of $75,000 in mansion tax for a purchase of a property within this price range in New York City. Now, the fourth bracket, the increase is a little bigger. So this price range is from the $5 million to $10 million range. And the tax rate increases here by three quarters of a percentage point to 2.25%. So you'll be paying somewhere between $112,500 up to $225,000 in mansion tax alone. But now we're going to have a really big jump. Once we get to the $10 million range in the fifth bracket, you'll see. So here we see the fifth bracket starting from $10 million going up to $15 million. And the tax rate has jumped by a full percentage point to 3.25%. Which means that you'll be paying somewhere between $325,000 up to $487,500. So somebody paying $10 million is going to be paying significantly more than someone who buys an apartment at $9,999,000. Now, in the sixth bracket, this is the $15 million to $20 million range. The tax rate goes up again by 0.25 percentage point to 3.5. And that means that you'll be paying somewhere between $525,000 up to $700,000 in mansion tax alone. The seventh bracket, we see that starts at $20 million and goes up to $25 million. So definitely the ultra luxury segment of New York City real estate. And here again, the tax rate increases by 0.25% to 3.75. So you'll be paying somewhere between $750,000 and $937,500 in mansion tax alone. And finally, we reach the top bracket, which is the $25 million and up price range. And here the tax rate caps out at 3.9%, which means that you'll be paying somewhere from $975,000 on up from there in mansion tax alone. So as you can see, the taxes in New York City are quite different than for the rest of the state. It's a very, what you would call a progressive tax, because it increases as the prices go up. You know, there's going to be very special considerations for both buyers and sellers regarding how to negotiate because of where those brackets lie. Which brings me to my next point is, how does this affect you as a buyer or a seller? And it's really important to recognize that this mansion tax basically becomes an additional term for negotiation. So if you're in negotiations as a buyer or a seller, and price becomes a sticking point, or you know, you're having trouble getting that deal across the finish line to, you know, a meeting of the minds where both parties can agree, then the mansion tax, if it applies in your situation, might be something that you want to look at in terms of finding some give and take with the counterpart on the other side in order to get the deal done. For sellers as well, this will be an important consideration when you are actually looking at pricing the home for listing. So when you're going to list a home, if you know that the value of your home, the market value of your home, is roughly on the border of two different brackets, you might want to seriously consider dropping your price down to the lower bracket, because you will incentivize a lot more buyer traffic and get a lot more activity on your listing than if you price a little bit higher and it kicks you into the higher tax bracket. That will obviously discourage buyers from coming, because they'll know they're going to have to pay a ton more of extra tax just because you priced an additional $1,000 or $2,000 higher. So that's an important consideration for sellers when you're looking to list your home, and something that we would definitely speak to you about if you happen to be the owner of a property that lands in one of these price ranges. So definitely important to realize that the mansion tax for buyers and for sellers can become a crucial part of the negotiation process and a crucial part of your planning, whether you're planning out your budget as a buyer or you're planning your sale price and your property value as a seller. So if you have additional questions on this, well, first of all, you can certainly put your comments and questions in the comments below, and we'll be happy to answer that, or I'll be happy to answer that. But if you'd like advice from a realtor, then definitely, I can speak with you regarding how the mansion tax might impact your situation, whether you're a buyer or a seller. And my contact information should be attached to this video. So by all means, feel free to reach out and have a chat, and we can talk that over. All right, everybody. So hopefully you found the video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And once again, please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell, and you'll get notifications of all our new content. We're constantly posting helpful content for buyers, sellers, and investors in real estate. Thanks again for watching, and hope to see you again soon.